Okay, once again, just going to pick up right where we left off. One of the first concepts that I went over with sections 2 and 3 last week, and section 1 didn't get to see any of this because I didn't get to see them at all because of the IT conference, was setting up a new background image and changing around the size and stuff like that. So you're going to deal with templates like this one quite often where you go in and you click and it's like, hey, where's this graphic? I can't click on it and see the handlebars around it. I can't move it or resize it or anything. And it's the same thing with most of the graphics they have on the site. That's because they have the graphics in images here. They're definitely there, but they've set them up to be the background in the CSS. So this particular division, if I click on it and I go over, okay, that's the font, that's a div logo. So this is div logo, you can see there. This is just this big box. So if I go into the CSS file, and I don't have to open it, okay, I want you guys to start getting used to the quick things in here. So instead of going in here and opening it up, you can see the code right here, okay, and you can still make changes and save. Technically it's open now, I just didn't have to go right to it. So if I go to the CSS file and I Control F and I go find logo, I can see, there we go. So the image that's in the background of logo is called, well, go figure, logo.jpg, okay? You can see my links are all nice and updated from when I moved it into its own folder. So what we're going to do is find another image for logo.jpg that's more fitting with the theme of our site, which is all about Flock of Seagulls, the band. So let's go and set that up, okay? So now, just because we couldn't click on the image there doesn't mean we don't know where to find it. It's in images. It's called logo. You can see it right here. If we go into Windows, we can preview the image. So here's my sites folder. There's my demo site in images. Okay, we're going to make it even a little bigger. So there's logo right there. So we're going to try and get something that would replace this and maybe even replace it in the same exact size. So right now that's 745 by 405. So before we start changing things around, let's just assume we're going to keep it in a similar size, because what I'm doing right now, the lesson here is, let's change this image. Well, you can't just drag a picture in and put it in there over top of the other one. It's actually a background image in CSS. It's still just as easy, okay? So let's start by going to find a replacement image. And remember the size here, 747 by 405. So I got my favorite search engine up, all of our favorite search engine, Google here. Now I'm logged in, so it's at iGoogle. We're going to go right to images. We're going to search Flock of Seagulls. Okay, isn't it one? I thought it was one L. Oh no, it's two L's. Well, that little quick mistake we're going to just fix there. Let's go back to our main page. Okay, luckily we haven't put this in the site title yet. That was actually something we should have done before we went and changed all the pages around. Okay, we'll fix that in a little quick short video here. Let's go to design view and let's go add that extra L in there. Totally forgot about that. And you know, really quick while we're doing this, I think this is a cool title for the site as well. You always want to have good keywords in your title. I'm not, you know, you want to take the skills you learned from Professor Gray's class and actually apply them more. But the one thing I did forget to change is you always want to get rid of stuff that has to do with the template that you borrowed. See, this is a free template from somewhere, so I'm going to get that out of there, and I'm going to throw that site title in there. And because I forgot to do that on all the pages, I do have to go back to each of the pages and do it. This is a, you know, a very quick lesson in what not to do when you're cloning. Always try and change everything before you go back. So you can see how fast it would be. There's one done right there. So you don't, yes, save changes. So you'd open up the other three and do those two. Just fix the site titles on all of them. Okay, and I'm going to do that before I do the next video, so you can, they'll be fixed. The other quick thing I always say to check for is in the source code. Search for the word template or CSS. If you see any links made to templates rain or template or wherever you get where you got the template from, you can always get rid of that, okay, before you go and clone the pages. This is just the demo for this. I left most of that in there. I'll get rid of that as I do each page, but just best practices for you guys to get rid of that ahead of time, okay? Something I noticed there as I was, it's going to add a minute or two to this video, but nonetheless, let's get back to this background image. So we want a new one, okay? And why did I keep stressing the size there? Why is that so important? Well, because if you're just going to directly replace it, you don't want to mess up all your divisions and the way they're sized, why not just get an image and make it the same size, 747 by 405. So quickest way to do this, spelling seagulls correctly, would be to use Google Images, and I already knew the one I wanted to pick. It came up across the top because I don't want a ton of color in here. I have a kind of a color theme going, so I'm going to use this one, okay? Right away I see 800 by 556, so it's going to be big enough to crop down and make the size I want it. You don't want to get something smaller than the size of the one that's already there, because then it'll start getting grainy if you make it bigger. But if it's bigger, that's okay. You'll be able to resize it, and that's going to be part of this lesson. If you don't see something big enough, go to Advanced Search. You see where I went there? Right underneath here, Advanced Search. Really good way to find specific types of files when you're searching images. Go down here and set it so that the size is at least, you're going to have to go, at least one of them has to be big enough. Larger than 800 by 600, okay? Now, if I set it that size, I don't think I'll find the one I'm looking for. Oh, there's actual flocks of seagulls. Cool. I really like that black and white one. Looks like they got a little older there. I really like that black and white one. You could make something like this black and white too, though, and that would be big enough. I actually like that one. That one's pretty good. Let's oh no, there it is. Okay, there's one that's big enough. Although you do have to, see, be careful with some of the copyright stuff. You'd have to take something out of that. And we've discussed copyright a lot in class. Again, if it's not watermarked, you do a quick reference to where you got it from, and you'll be safe. So I'm not seeing anything I really like as much as that first black and white one. But it's just a lesson in making sure you get the right size. I know this is big enough, so I'm going to click on it. Don't right-click here and save it. You're not going to actually get the full-size file if you do that. Click on the file, then save the picture, okay? And I'm actually going to go and put this picture into sites, users, sites, my username, into my raw folder, because I'm probably going to want a copy of this, like an original copy. So I'm going to start a new folder in here called raw images. This is just, again, best practices. So you've seen why I've shown you to save stuff like this, so you always have a copy. Just call it band pick. You don't need that big, huge, long name. Okay? And then save it. All right, now we're going to open up Photoshop and adjust the image to work with our template. So the purpose of this video is really just to show you how to get the picture and how to make sure you get a picture that's bigger than what you have in there now. Because if you get one bigger and you have a little room to cut some stuff off, you could see with their legs there, I could probably, here, let's go take a look at it in Windows. If we look at it, the picture that I just got there with their legs, okay, I'll be able to take a bit off there if I need it to be a little narrower or something. Like, there's some room to work with here. So get an image like that, preferably with what I'm doing here. Get the same image, and then we can do the same stuff to it. And that'll start right in the next video.